Hello, everyone. Welcome to Social Media and AI Shortcuts. I'm Madeline Sklar. How you doing today? As always, we have lots to discuss. You can always be assured that when you come here, there's going to be a big discussion about a variety of things. Like, have you thought about adding a no AI manipulation clause into your contracts? I bet you didn't. And you're going to want to hear what Facebook expert Maury Smith and attorney Mitch Jackson have to say about it. It's fascinating and it's going to get us all thinking, that's for sure. And hashtags, why are platforms phasing them out? It's interesting, right? So we're going to have a discussion about that as well, plus various news and insights when it comes to using AI and social media. If you're new here, hello, I'm Madeline Sklar. I help content creators, marketers, and entrepreneurs like you that want to get more done in less time when it comes to social media and AI, because there's so much of it out there. So my goal is to make it just a little bit easier so you're not so overloaded. So let me bring up our panelists for today. We got so much to discuss, and we even have a new panelist with us, Stephen Henry, joining us today. Hi, Stephen. I'm so glad you're here with us. So how are all of y'all doing today?
Good.
Yeah, good. Glad to be here. Had to find my microphone. It's been a while since I've been on StreamYard.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here. You just joined our school community, Social Media and AI Shortcuts. And, for anybody that joins us in our school community, you're definitely invited to come on screen if you want. You don't have to. If you'd like to, just reach out to me or any of our regular panelists to get the link, our StreamYard link to do that. Stephen, since you're new here, tell everybody just briefly a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been around the internet since before it was public. I worked for Motorola back in the 80s. Got onto ARPANET, the military beginnings of the internet, what it was actually created for, then on to NSFNet, which was the National Science Foundation, and was a big part of universities. I was a professor for a while, and then started my own bulletin board, created an internet service provider company, had my own company, and began working with websites. I built my first website in early spring of '94. The World Wide Web was rolled out publicly in the end of '93. So I was there when you could count the number of websites that existed.
Right.
Went on through a lot of stuff, and into the 2000s, I was born and grew up in Ontario, Canada. 2000, I moved to Kansas, USA, where I am now for the last 25 years. And about 15 years ago or so, I got into coaching. I was really always coaching, helping people as a sideline to what I was doing, but it was just a natural progression after all these decades of business to get into it formally, and I've been doing that ever since.
Awesome. We're glad you're here with us today. And wow, you've been on the web a long time. I got introduced to it like in 1995, and there weren't too many of us way back then. And I remember what it was like. It was so different. And then I became one of the first web designers in Houston, where I live. I launched my own web design business in January 1996, before most people had ever even heard of .com. And back then, there were no tools to help. It was Notepad and my trusty laptop and typing code off the top of my head. And it was an interesting time because there weren't too many people doing that. And here I'm in fourth largest city in the country, and there were only like me and two other people that were, quote, web designers in the whole city. And it was a really cool time.
Netscape was the big one then.
Oh, yeah. I remember Netscape. Yeah. Yeah, it was a different time. So, well, I'm glad you're here with us. And we also got Rachel, Jim, and Barb with us, and always so much to talk. How about y'all each quickly, just super brief, who you are, what you do, so in case somebody's here new and doesn't know who y'all are.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go first. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Thompson. I own Bad Redhead Media, and I help authors with book marketing, branding, social media, Substack, which has become a big thing. And I also am the author of 8 books, 3 just for writers. So if you have questions about SEO, branding, or how to market your book, it's there.
You're the go-to gal.
I hope so.
I know so. And Jim, tell everybody about you.
Yeah, so Jim Fuse, I'm the president of Fusion Marketing. And like Rachel has mentioned, I've become very active with Substack, especially on the video side. And I actually probably need to have a chat with you, Rachel, because I actually have a draft of a mini book on how to use Substack for video. So marketing will be like the next step.
Everybody should follow you. See, there's the link right there. Go follow Jim on Substack. Jim, it's been fun watching you like join Substack and just go all in on it.
Oh, it's so much more peaceful over there, I feel like.
It is. It is. And also, Rachel, you do an amazing job. I'll put yours up on the screen too. So I definitely encourage people watching this to join. Those are two great Substacks. You can learn a lot just by following them and watch how they use it. Many times when it comes to social media platforms, you learn by watching how other people are using it, especially when it's new, like it is right now. I mean, it's not new. Substack's been around for a while, but people are just now starting to understand the power of it. And we've had many conversations here where we've all been so enlightened. And it's like, wow, this is definitely a place to be. Rachel Felice says, you promote books? They're asking.
I market books. It's a little different. So I do the background stuff like advertising, getting promotions, running giveaways, setting up and growing social media, doing ads, creating Substacks. That's the kind of stuff that I do. I don't refer to myself as a book promoter because usually I'm working with also a PR company, a publisher, the author themselves, the website company. So I do one part of that. So yes and no about promoting books. Like I don't take money from people to promote their book. There are a lot of companies that you can do that are very reasonably priced. And I share them on my Substack, which is free. So
awesome. Yeah. I love it. We're getting a lot of background noise from somebody. I'm not sure.
Probably me. I'm going to mute.
Oh, okay. It just sounded like computer sounds in the background. That's you? Okay. All good. Thank you for sharing that, Rachel. And a reminder for those tuning in, be sure to join us on the school platform. That's where we continue our conversations. It's free to join. Go to school.com/Madeline Sklar. You see it there on the screen. I absolutely love School. I've been using their platform for several years. It's a great place to bring people together. We've had lots of discussions here about the power of using School and the power of using Substack. These are like two great platforms right now for community building. They do have a couple things that are great for those of you watching that are trying to build your own community. You can start your own for as low as $9 a month, which is pretty darn amazing. You get more out of it when you control it versus, Facebook groups, X groups, all these other places, LinkedIn groups where you really don't have real control. Those platforms can do whatever they want and they can change their community guidelines. They can put strikes on your accounts. They can delete your account. There's so many things that can happen when you're using a platform like School. You have all the control. And it seems like now more than ever, it is so important to have your own circle of people in your, whether it's your customers or just like-minded people, or even for a hobby. They have two different plans, $9 a month or $99 a month. And you actually get a lot of features for the $9. Like, I'm so glad they finally added that as something that people can sign up and utilize, because it had been $99 a month for many, many years. And they make it really affordable for people that maybe want to start a hobby community, or they want to start a community for their business, but they're just not sure if it's going to take off or if they want to invest $99 a month. So this just makes it so much easier. You can go check it out. My link is tinyurl.com/Madeline School. But yeah, love School platform. And for those of y'all, I know some of our panelists here use School. They have this week, brand new subscription tiers. So very much like Patreon. So as a community owner, you can, of course, have yours free, like I have ours. You can have it as a paid, where people got to join the membership. And now it's the best of both worlds. You can have it free with paid tiers, just like Patreon. So I'm definitely planning on adding keeping it free like it is, but adding 2 tiers, like a Madeline's Inner Circle, kind of like this, but not public, where it's more like a mastermind group. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to put together, but I need thoughts from our community. What do y'all want? I can't build something that I mean, I can certainly build things and put stuff together, but I don't know if that's what everybody wants. So, do y'all think like a mastermind type of thing is something that people would be interested in, that you all are interested, or not sure? Or do y'all have any ideas of like what would be?
I think, Madeline, because you provide so much to people, that to have like, because I was looking earlier and I like the whole idea of, if you want to call it the freemium, where you
Yeah.
have the free,
Yes.
and then you have like a paid tier, and then you have the VIP tier. So maybe the VIP tier is where the mastermind is. And maybe the paid tier is like once a month, or, the people that are paying get a, ask me anything live stream inside of it. Because
Yeah.
that even made me think, well, maybe that's how you kind of figure out, how do we get around when you go live, it's going live to everyone when you just want certain people to have access.
Right.
So
I love that.
that's where I think, even if you just do that, because now you can like, hey, I can go live to the people that are supporting me and invite them in, and maybe even that's the way that you create the, we'll call it the Zoom meeting. Maybe the Zoom meeting is the VIP, even though they're
Yeah.
not paying you. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Great idea. What are y'all's thoughts? Y'all like these ideas too? The rest of our panelists.
Yeah, I like what Jim just shared. It sits really well. I've been a long time user on School, and really enjoyed it. I've been in a couple of groups and left them because they haven't been very exciting. I've just recently joined 4 new ones. Yours, Madeline, is one of them, and I'm just poking around. I was getting into it and looking around before this session, and I really like what's being shared there. And so Jim, I think, has really nailed it in terms of where you can go with it. One of the things that I'm doing right now, I'm looking to start my own school group, and I've been digging around trying to find information. Barb shared with me she invited me to the week 33 session from school itself, and so I got the new information about the tiers and the chat and webinars, and it was really quite interesting to me. And it seems to round it out, as you say, into a full platform that can be used effectively. But I'm having a little difficulty finding some of the information about things. For example, the chat function, which seems to be very much like Zoom and could conceivably be a replacement for Zoom, but there's fine details about it. Can you bring people into it publicly, or do people have to be members of the group to get into it?
They have to be a member of the group.
Yeah,
They have to be in your school.
It took me quite a while to find that information, and I did, and yes, so I understand that. And but it's those kind of little things that could be shared publicly, and then get into more detailed things in that first paid tier. Another one, I've still been looking for a good video that I can see the functions of setting up a course. Is it like a typical learning management system, like Lifter LMS, or one of those, or is it different? Is it unique to this platform? And I just haven't really been able to find a good look. I found a couple of YouTube videos which were focused on other things that showed a little bit of course setup as a kind of a by the by, and again, those are details that just people seem to be overlooking. They figure it out themselves and they do it, and they forget that there's a lot of new people out there, who are maybe well established in other things but haven't done this.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Steve, because like even for me, I mean, I've only got one class in my classroom, and that was from seeing what Madeline had done. And even though I kind of, it's like you said, you kind of figure it out poking around.
Right.
I mean, I'm in the schoolers community because I started my own community, and so that's something I would recommend, even if you're the only one in your community at first, because it gives you access to that extra information and interaction But I think that's a great point. It's probably something that we don't always see, and things keep changing, and and that might be something I'm going to do a little bit more of, because what I see the power of what school can do, and I've talked to some other people that even, people with Slack groups, right? They run into this issue of people look at Slack as like, well, I have to use it for work. I really don't want to use it for these other things. And so school just feels like, okay, then get away from it. I love the gamification, and that Barbara is really the one that's kind of made us see the value in that. So that could get people maybe like, oh, well, if I get to this level, then I get, whatever extra feature, or I get a one-on-one with Steve, and he's going to, tell me about how I can, do things better in the areas you're an expert in. But you're right. I think that's the challenge. And I even wonder, because now that they've added these things, it would be great to, in a sense, and Barbara and I were playing around with this on the calendar, you can set up a class that would be live, and the only people that can come to the class are the people you invite. So the question really becomes, well, can I invite somebody one time to make it a Zoom call, or do they have to stay a part of my community? And that's, I think, to me, the only, I don't know if it's a huge downside, but it's like, if you wanted to use it for business, do you really want to have to set up a second school that's just that you use it for when you have, online meetings? Because I think most of the features that they're putting into the live streaming are really good and can definitely replace what Zoom does.
Yeah, but the whole point with school is that it's not public. People have to join a school community to be
Right.
able to view classroom, the live streams, post everything, is to bring people together. So there's that barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Once you're in, but I totally understand.
But it's good.
It is.
It's
I think
good
it is. I
because
think it is.
Qualifies the audience.
100%.
And Steve, Jim is in my group also, that or my school. Sorry, in my school.
I'm in her
community.
classroom.
Yeah. Well, we have a classroom in school, but as you all know, I go live before this with 26,000 Udemy students every week on Thursdays. And so this week was the first week I actually introduced, okay, I think it's time for you all to go there. And please, if you can, watch us on my profile today, if nothing else. And because I've not been promoting my presence on there, Stephen has been part of my live streaming group that Jim is also in, that we've had since Blab days, since we all left Blab and said, oh God, we have to go set up a Facebook group. The thing is, though, that I and this instructor who I am affiliated with, he and I both have CNN experience. So, I mean, it's so funny when you get two old journalist type people together, and of course he's younger like you kids are, and it's like, it is a situation. And I just flat out said to him, he started hitting me with the questions. And I said, school is a destination for show me the money. I'm sorry. But I said, all of us were just chomping at the bits to use Blab because we could finally see each other on screen, and do that with the general public that was available on the internet. And just like you said now, Jim, what your concern was, do they have to stay a member? Do they have to be a member beyond their session with you? And that has been in the school discussion group, Jim, that very question you brought up. So I will just say this about the founders of this application and the major investor is they're paying attention to the customer. That's why we all love StreamYard. When we jumped from Blab to StreamYard, I mean, we had the founders of Blab just totally diss us, and it's like, what? You build this up and then you guys walk away from it. But they didn't have the funding. And they didn't have the funding like school has. And of course, StreamYard, of course, has changed hands, has much better funding now. People are coming back to it as a tool. And
Yeah.
I think if you have, and not to pitch StreamYard because I know, but the thing is that if you combine StreamYard with school
Mhm.
and Substack, if that's the three, that's the equation to use those three tools, you still need to have something like StreamYard, I feel, to make it easy on yourself to keep going. And school, in the live on school, right away they listened that we wanted to have our videos transcribed, so we didn't have to go and pay
Yes.
for a separate transcription service. And we all knew what YouTube gave us. And school is better on the base transcription, just the raw
Right.
material. And you can do your StreamYard and actually share that on screen in your school community and
And
get
yep.
even more.
And I've got a
I
story
mean,
to
you
tell
can
on that.
really
Yeah.
get geeky on that, because as Madeline and I've shared with you all who have listened in while I've been here, I use virtual cameras so that I can switch to different attire as a still image if I want to, or show you the scene from my environment, or show you some tool I'm using at my tabletop. So, or
Yeah.
share another live stream, because you can do that with those tools. So you can
Right.
really geek out on that stuff. But with school, the ultimate control factor is golden in being able to put your content. And that issue, Stephen, that you had addressed, it is covered in the schooler's classroom. If you have the $9 level, of course, you get access to all that information. So if you don't, I will show you in another private session so you can see it. So
Okay.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's the way that I've never been a gamer, so to speak. Then I got cancer, and I ended up in Second Life because of the American Cancer Society having a grid there. And then ended up working with the federal government, with real estate. It's amazing how all of that technology goes, because they want to have the most human effect of a connection as they possibly can. Even though, I mean, there are times when you get so excited in these live streams, you want to reach out and hug someone, and they can feel it, even if you can't touch each other.
Absolutely.
They feel the love. So,
absolutely. We need to move on though, but this is awesome. And the thing is, based on what Barb was just telling everybody, the best strategy is utilizing all the things she was saying: StreamYard, Substack, and school. They're all S's. Isn't that funny? The 3 S's. Follow the 3 S's, because here's the thing. Why StreamYard? Because like right now, we're in StreamYard, the 5 of us. This is pushing out to multiple Facebooks, multiple LinkedIns, multiple YouTube, and multiple X accounts right now between the 5 of us. Okay. So we're casting the wide net. This is going out, far and wide. And then we're trying to bring people into our communities. And so I'm always talking about school because I love school and I have a home for us in school. Bring them over to school so we can continue the discussions. And I can do live streams in there that are not for the public. I can have classes in there that are not for the public right now. It's all free. I'm not using the paid tiers yet, but I will be. And so that, Larry, that's what you had missed right before you got here. We were talking about that. So catch the replay to hear what we were talking about. I'm still formulating what I want my tiers to be, and Jim gave some great thoughts on that. And what I love about school, just like how StreamYard, before they sold it, those 2 guys, the 2 founders of StreamYard, always listen. They love feedback. They used to host a weekly live stream every Sunday evening and would ask the community to chime in, and always giving everybody updates of what they were working on and what can we do to make this better. School is like the school listens. And I was talking about this in the green room before we started, but I'll share this with everybody. So I've been using school I first got on school when I was using in somebody, an influencer's community about 3 years ago, I think it was. And then eventually I started my first one, which is not the social media AI shortcuts that I have. It was a different one for something else. And I started that. We're coming up on 2 years. And then I started social media AI shortcuts about a year ago. So I've had these two, and I'm always, ooh, that was loud. I don't know where that came from.
I think it came by Steve's house. I saw his
Ooh,
avatar move.
sound like a motorcycle zooming right by, or a car. Whenever there's features I want, I go straight to the top. I DM Sam Ovens. I don't know if he responds to everybody, but he always responds to me. I don't know if it's because I've been paying them for several years, and or that he just responds to everybody. But they do listen, and I've talked to community managers over the years over there with my thoughts, and like, because I've been building online community since the mid-90s. So I always have lots of thoughts of like, I would love this, I would love that, and with this new subscription tiers, I assumed when they launched it this week for all of us, I assumed it would be like Patreon, where as the account owner, when I do a post in school, I can select who gets it, whether it goes to everybody or a specific tier, because that's how Patreon works. And I always love that about Patreon. And it doesn't do that. It's only for the calendar in the classroom. So I've been asking around. I've talked to other people in the school community, other people that have their own, and I still not getting a clear answer. So I DM'd Sam Ovens this morning. He is the founder of school, and had a back and forth with him, and just letting him know that I would really love to be able to post to specific tiers. And he says that they know some people want it, but they're going to wait to see how things go first, which makes perfect sense, because they just launched this, and this is a really big feature they just did. We got another member here. Nick Wood is joining us. Hey, Nick.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for letting me in. I'm very grateful. I live stream with Barb once a week. So she said to me, she goes, "Oh, you got to come into Madeline's live stream." And I'm like, yeah. But because I'm in the UK,
Love it.
the time is different, but our clocks have gone and yours haven't, and so I'm here.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here with us. Thanks for tuning. Real quick, I mean, we still got lots to talk about. We've just been kind of just talking about a variety of things. Tell everybody real quick, just briefly, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Nick Wood. I'm in the UK. I'm an affiliate marketer, live streamer, Amazon live stream influencer. Was until they just cut it all off. But yeah, so basically I've been online since 2014, I guess, and live streaming 2018, 19. I love it. And I love it even more now with all this AI and everything. I've said about, I'm sure live streaming will just have a massive rebirth, because we're going to need to find the truth. So it's going to be interesting the next couple of years.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad you're here with us. Thank you for joining in.
You're a real newbie, Nick.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Compared to you guys, absolutely. Fresh off the block, wet behind the ears. Totally.
Yeah. Well, it's great having you here. There's a great group of panelists, and being part of our school community, all of y'all are always invited to come join us in the live stream each Thursday afternoon. All right, let me get to a few more things so we can kind of, I guess, other things for us to talk about. We are getting a little bit of static from you, Nick, a little bit of like background static, just FYI. Ooh. So that's, yeah, I hear it. I'm not sure what, are you using Bluetooth? It sounds like a Bluetooth thing.
Yeah, probably is.
Wouldn't that be right, Jim? I know Bluetooth usually does that kind of static. So it's fine. Just, mute when you're not talking.
Yeah, will do.
I was never an audio snob until I became a podcaster in 2013. And I couldn't believe how much it changed me. And it's like, I just catch every little thing. And it's just, I don't ever mean to sound rude or, it turned me into an audio snob. Sorry. Real quick before we die, I wanted to make this announcement. I know we've already been here a while talking about a variety of things. Super quick announcement. I figured I should mention this here. So if anybody's interested, just reach out to me. But I have 2 different wireless lavalier mics I don't use anymore. And they're really good. They're the Hollyland, which is like, I think one of the best brands. And the reason why I have these now is because I have the one that was for an older iPhone I have, and this is for iPhone or Android. And these things are really cool. You put this thing on your phone, and then this is your mic, and it comes with magnets. You can just put the magnet on, or you just hold it. And so I had this particular one. If anybody's interested, I'll give you all the details. But I got these on Amazon. I've had this one for almost a year. Then I upgraded my phone from a 14 Pro to a 15 Pro. So then I had to upgrade, and then so of course they make it so that you can't plug in the other thing. You got to get all new. So I had to go buy a whole new thing. And then I decided to try this. It's still Hollyland, but look how little this thing, that's the mic. And you can clip this on you, and it's really cool. But I really like the sound of the other one, but I need it for my newer phone. So I went ahead and got that one, so yes, I have 3 different, this is my new one because I actually like these things better. But that's just me. They're all great. So I figured I should just, sell these. And I'll definitely, do it at best offer. Whoever gives a good offer. I'd be happy to share what I paid on Amazon, show you the screen of, so you can see all the stuff. And if it sounds interesting to you based on the type of phone, then I'd be happy to sell it to you. They're just sitting on my desk, and they're both in great condition. The one that's like this one, I've only had this for like a few months. I've hardly even used it. So anyway, just want to throw that out there. All right. So we need to talk about what Maury Smith had posted on Facebook the other day about this whole no AI manipulation clause in your contracts. Did anybody here? I know a lot of y'all follow Maury Smith. Anybody here on our panel see her post about this and the discussion that you did, Jim? Oh, and of course, I know you did, Barb. You're always on her site with everything. This was so interesting. So yeah, Maury Smith, and for those that don't know, Maury Smith is like one of the most iconic social media marketers of all time. She's up there with Gary Vaynerchuk. I knew about her before Gary Vaynerchuk, and she was known as the queen of Facebook. What was her tagline? Something like the Pied Piper of Facebook. Everybody followed her along. I remember her, this was probably 20 years ago. I remember tuning into some webinar. This was before Zoom, probably GoToWebinar. I remember just tuning into some webinar. I think it was Office Depot that was putting it on. And I just remember that was the first time I heard her speak. And I was so impressed with her. And this was way before she became a big deal. Yeah. But anyway, she's a big deal. And she posted this the other day. And she said, fellow speakers, ensure you have a no AI manipulation clause in your contracts to protect your likeness. I'm telling event hosts it's a must. And this actually became like a really big conversation. 120 comments. I told her I was glad she brought this up. And I tried to get her to come on here to talk. She was too busy today, but I do know her, and I was hoping to get her on for a few minutes to come share all of this. But she's been having issues with this where her likeness, there's Barb's comment, her likeness is being like they're using AI. She talked about how she provided headshots. She provided all the art that they would need in the promotion of whatever this speaking thing was. And they instead took her photo and put it into AI, and she didn't care for the manipulation that they did with it. And, I never really thought about that before. Have any of y'all really thought about, and this isn't just for a speaker clause, like a lot of people are now thinking about this for anything you're doing within, what if you're a podcast guest or like y'all are here, this is just a little hangout live stream, but what if I went and grabbed all of y'all's photos, put into AI and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I wouldn't do it without asking y'all first or getting your approval.
That's right.
Because
absolutely right.
What if it changes it so or makes you look weird? And to me, it looks fine, but Rachel might go, Madeline, I'm not really comfortable with how that's portraying me. I would never do that without ever asking, but apparently people are just doing these things. What are your thoughts?
I would say that better than putting a no use clause in the contract, put a you're trying to think of the legal term here, but a right of approval clause for that sort of thing, to force them to get your approval. I mean, I can see lots of occasions where it would be. I use a lot of images in my posts and other work I do that I create with AI. They're watercolor painting style images, and they've become my signature. Sort of, people recognize my posts immediately when they have those images, because they're a certain style that I have established on AI. And I could see an instance where I might want to have some kind of a brochure or online advertisement for, say, this session, if I was doing it, and have the people that are going to be in it in that blurb about it, but have their AI watercolor images that I have created to keep my style alive, rather than an actual photo. But I would certainly ask everybody to approve, not just the permission to do it. I would ask that first, and then get their approval on the end result, and remake it until we could get it right. And if not getting it right, if the person was a stickler and wanted their own photograph, then I would just exclude them from the blurb and say photo not available. And that would certainly be my right. So there's gray areas around this that you want to consider.
Great thought. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that I have with the AI is that, especially now with like Sora 2 and some of these other things where they can take your image and make a video of you. And then if somebody meets you in person, they're like, well, was that, it's like, oh, that wasn't really me. I have an issue with that. I would probably tend to go along with what Steven is saying. Like, it's fine if it's, kind of in fun, but I don't necessarily know, like, hey, if you want me to do a video for you to use in your promotion of an event, I'll do a video for you of me in real life. I'm just not necessarily on board with, like, oh, someone's going to use all this AI to make me to be something I may or may not be.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Nick. You'll need to unmute.
Sorry if there's static, I apologize. But yeah, no, I totally agree. This is, I mean, you wouldn't dream of doing it without actually showing someone, first of all, just out of respect. But the fact that people have done it, and so this means that other people will do it. But also, it's like the bigger issue, actually, of anyone can take your image and do anything with it with AI that you're totally unaware of. And it just reminded me slightly of a few years ago when someone asked me to do a little presentation for them and a video, and I did it. And the next thing I know, this thing's got 100,000 views and everything, and they'd use it as an ad. And it was like, I was like, whoa, like, I never agreed to that, but there was no real comeback for me. I had to suck it up and, just tell them, if I see it, I'll just trash you big time, all on the line. So.
Yeah. And Barb, what did you think when you saw Mari's post talking about, because you were in her comments, I saw.
Right. I was the first one to comment, and she commented back to me. We were right there together. We were laughing in Messenger together, because it's like, one of the things I will just say to everyone is never forget who brings you to the party. And Mari and I have been connected, I think, since 2004. And Mitch Meyerson from and Jay Levinson, those names sound familiar to you at all. They long published, and Mari was a blogger at the time before all of this started. So the other thing I did when I got online is I grabbed on to the attorneys who were circling around online, the ones who were participating in the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Those, I worked directly with two that worked for the federal government. And so keeping up with that has been just one of my 101 things that I've done since I've been online. So I was already on the stick on that one because I knew. And another thing I'm kind of famous for is writing my own contracts for my agreements with folks. And even the large, I mean, really large, like back in those days, IBM and Kodak, I wrote the contract. So that tells you something when a big corporation will accept something that a non-attorney wrote. But I wrote it through my education and working with the attorneys and all the things we come up against. So when Maury put that up, I had already been 3 months ago, I had something like that happen to me with I started using the avatars for changing. On Facebook, it's important that you change your profile photo regularly to help for security reasons. And I thought, okay, this is a great use of AI because especially, and one of the things I learned in attending these live sessions, we all decided to use Gemini. And I just set up in Gemini. So I've created myself, but I can change my outfits every day and be the same person. And so I can change with the season and so forth, but it's the same image of me. So that's great for branding. This image that you see of me right now, this is a feature of StreamYard where we can have multiple icons in our accounts. And I switched to my Westward Connections motif from way back when, because I've been in business for 35 years under that brand name. And I did that today as a test because what Facebook is doing and some other destinations are doing is they're labeling these AI avatars that we're using as AI right over the application. So you got to stay up on that stuff. And I agree with what Maury said. I didn't actually look at her closet. I think you'll see what my comment to her on there, but you can see what I said on there about reading that. You got to dot the I's and cross the T's. And my feeling is that because it all started when we decided we were going to call each other influencers and go out there and it was worth money to do so. If we could influence your decisions with our audience, we're going to be influencers. And so then it really hit home with everyone because you wanted to do big deals with big brands and they expected you to do business like a business person. But it comes down to, well, what now? It's not really reflecting me. The AI image is not really reflecting me, and then seeing someone manipulate it to actually, like Jen said, with Sora. I mean, this gets spooky because someone sent me a message and I'm very open. I'm 74 years old now. Can you imagine a 74-year-old person looking at themselves dancing like a go-go girl in a Facebook message?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Believe me, it was a wake-up call, but I am not the kind of woman that you want to do those kinds of things to and think there's not going to be any repercussion, because I've been there and done that. And I know how to be a little, I went against Citicorp and won. And I know how to be a little guy and be able to do that. And, it's paying attention to what you sign and gets us back to school terms of service, Facebook terms of service, and why we're out here doing what we're doing today.
Exactly. And I think this conversation that Maury started is so important because it's getting everybody thinking like we're in a new age now with all this AI and the things it can do. And if you're signing a contract to speak somewhere or to whatever, this can be for a variety of things because AI is so ingrained now into so many aspects of business. So, and it will be more and more. I mean, not all businesses use it yet, but we're going to see it more widely adopted in the next several years, I think, more than what we see right now. But amending the clause that you're signing to add, put in verbiage. And what I'm getting ready to show you, what my friend Mitch Jackson provided to Mari and her community. Mitch Jackson is a really popular attorney online, and he's written a variety of books. I'm in one of his books. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Social Media for Business Owners, Professionals, and Entrepreneurs. I wrote a chapter for his book that came out back in 2018. This guy knows his stuff. Definitely somebody to follow online. And so Mari went to him with this, and I have the link to this if anybody wants it. Basically, you put together Mari and Mitch put together this Google Doc that has information about this. It prompted Mari to put her message on here. That all of this because it started with this Facebook post, and she says she's been blown away by the response, and she wanted to help people with this because of the experience she had with it. And she's been a public speaker for over 25 years. So she's very big on protecting her personal brand. And, that I totally get that. And I agree with that. So what Mitch did is put this together. There's a long version and a short version. And he says, our template clause can be added to a speaker agreement. We tailor it for each client and situation. So he provided like what he uses for his clients. And let me just read the short version. So it's a clause for AI use and likeness protection. Organizer may not use, reproduce, or simulate the presenter's name, image, likeness, voice, or performance with any form of artificial intelligence, machine learning, voice cloning, deep fake, or similar technology without the presenter's prior written consent. So it's not saying don't do this, is don't do this unless you get consent first, which I think is how it should be. But you may need a clause like this in an agreement. And then it says this includes any AI generated or altered photos, videos, audio, or promotional materials used online or offline before or after the event. All rights to the presenter's likeness and identity remain exclusively with the presenter. Any unauthorized use will be considered a material breach and may result in legal action, including injunctive relief and damages. And so not everybody is on the level of Mari Smith, who is very well known. As she said in that Google Word doc that she's been a speaker for 25 years. Her brand is her face, her name and her face. And so for many of us with personal brands, that, it's our likeness. Like, I wouldn't want somebody just taking some photo of mine and totally manipulating it for something I'm participating in unless I knew about it first. So I just think that's just a great conversation starter in our community. And I'm so glad I saw that post. And I was asking Mari if she was going to make a video talking about it further. I would just love to see that discussion continue on. So any other thoughts on that before we move on?
It's always a good discussion on the legal issues of things. I think we can actually cover that in your group more often than not. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm also in group mode today because I had a big meeting with the Meta people on that. So the community can be anywhere. Community, the basis of community is 2 or more people. So it gets back to the human factor. And there is not a piece of AI that's going to jump out of the desert and say, I'll be your second person. That's not going to happen. But I tell you, as my adventures with AI continue, ChatGPT, I've now, and you have to be careful because, like I said, I worked with all the MDs and at Mayo Clinic and with the psychiatrist getting started at, I think Jim even published an article for Psychology Today one time, didn't you, Jim? One of my live streaming partners, that I thought you were the one.
But I don't think I did, but I know there's maybe somebody
one of our fellow live streamers that we're all close to.
Yeah.
Mitch is one of those. Mitch, early on, I knew Mitch before blab I am, we
Yeah.
were out there, and he was one of those young attorneys, and it turned out we had tons in common. But I, and I actually messaged Maury and I said, "What did Mitch say?"
Right.
You've been around so long, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good conversation. Is part of every business conversation is, just making sure you dot the I's and cross the T's.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely an important conversation. If anything, it should get everybody tuning into this to be thinking about this. And maybe it's not something you need right now, but maybe down the road. It's definitely a great conversation starter. I'll put the link to that Google Doc in on my YouTube. I know we're like broadcasting all over the place, but I always go back into my Madeline Sklar YouTube and update it, put links to everything we talked about. So that way, if anybody needs that, that's where it'll be later today. I wanted to have a discussion about hashtags, but it's really something that Rachel had brought to me. So since she was not able to stay longer, I think we'll save that for next week. And we're already come up to the top of the hour. An interesting piece of news that came out with Magai. We talked about Magai quite a bit here, a great all-in-one AI tool. If anyone here is not familiar with Magai, let me find my link here. Be sure to check out magai.co/Madeline. You can go learn more about it. And if it's something that sounds interesting to you, I actually have a great discount, 30% off for the first 3 months, which is pretty amazing that Dustin lets me offer that. But let me show y'all something interesting, because Dustin, who's the founder of Magai, posted this the other day. And one of the things I love about Magai as an all-in-one AI tool is that he is constantly updating it, upgrading, adding features as new AI tools come into play. He is always, making it so that is so relevant today with the different AI tools. And so many times he talks about something he's added to Magai that I didn't even know existed. So he said last week, there's a new AI model from OpenAI you probably haven't heard about, GPT-5 Image Mini. So I didn't even know about that. Did y'all already know of that one? Because until I saw his post, I hadn't even heard of that one.
Yeah, there were just 3 things in the last 24 hours that ChatGPT did that are on X in changes. It is just going so fast. So fast.
Yeah, I mean, at times it feels like it's hard to keep up. But this image he did, he said he just tried it and was blown away. Told it to create a cat playing cards in the style of a John Wick movie. One simple prompt, no prompt engineering. I need an image of a cat playing cards in the style of a John Wick movie. That's what he put in. It's not just fast, it's cheap, and the quality better than most charging 10x or more. Because a lot of those image ones, they do charge a lot. And because GPT-5 Image Mini is an LLM and an image generator, you don't need to write like this perfect prompt. And that's what always gets me, is like, I don't feel like I'm writing a really good prompt. I don't think it understands what I want. This says you just ask, it thinks, it creates. And all Magai users have access to it now. No upsells, no extra credits, no waiting lists. Because a lot of times when these new things come out, you're on a wait list, or you got to have all these extra credits because they always make it expensive in the beginning. So I just love that he's always so in tune to everything going on. And so I went in after seeing that, I'm like, well, let me go play with this, and let me go, follow. What I like to do is when he shows his prompt and how he's using something, I just basically go in and do the same thing. And so I go into Magai and I just typed in the prompt, create a cat playing cards in the style of John Wick. And it was pretty quick. It acknowledged me, and it let me know it can't reproduce the exact copyright film style, but I'll capture similar elements. And it came out, with this one. And I thought, that's pretty amazing. He already has this in Magai, because I haven't really heard people talking about this in OpenAI. So
I've been a strong advocate. I've been working with ChatGPT, I think 4 weeks or 5 weeks after ChatGPT was rolled out. I was already starting my relationship with it. I call my account Sis. short for system, and a homage to an early Canadian science fiction TV series called The Starlost. And I wrote my first book about AI on this very topic some months ago. And I've been talking about using conversational interaction with AI and forget about prompt engineering. Prompt engineering to me is the antithesis of what AI should be, especially LLMs. I've been working with LLMs since my days at Motorola in the 1980s, and people don't realize it goes back that far, but it does, even before then. And OpenAI was so right when they called their public-facing LLM ChatGPT, right in the name, chat, not code GPT, not structure GPT, but chat GPT. Have a conversation with it. Excuse the plug, but I wrote, I guess I can't show it to you.
Oh, yeah, we see it now.
Yeah, I wrote my first book on AI. It's not my first book, but it's my first book on AI, and it's called Between the Lines and Circuits.
I'm trying to make you bigger. There we go. Show it again. There we go. Between the Lines and Circuits. Okay.
Yeah, and the tagline is a human-AI conversation on trust creation and the future of understanding. It's a little bit wonky, but it's there. But the book is all about my journey up until the time of publication with ChatGPT, exploring it conversationally and what that means and how that works. And if you don't like prompt engineering, you don't like creating the perfect prompt, stop. Just talk to it. And it starts with naming it. Get a name. If you don't already have one, get a name for your account. That changes the relationship subtly but really. And ChatGPT actually responds to that. And things start to change going forward. I have let me see if I can bring it up here. If we have a moment. I can't do it on the big screen here. Let me go down and see this now. I've got this set wrong. Where can I set that? Edit avatar, this one.
Oh, cool.
And so that is a picture that was generated by Sys when I said, "How do you see us when we're chatting?" That's all I said. There's no prompt engineering to create this picture. I simply said, "How do you see us when we're chatting?" Fully expecting a text conversational response that would treat it at my see as a metaphor, and would simply give me words back saying how Sys interpreted us. Instead, immediately it created that picture, and that's me. I mean, look at me. I talk with my hands a lot. How did it know I talk with my hands? Right? It's not viewing me on camera, and I never described myself to it. But out of what we talked about, out of my voice, out of little things I said along the way, it put a composite together that is decidedly me. I have no problem identifying that as me. Yeah. And then itself. And why did it show itself that way? Because that's kind of how I imagined it. Using other AI services, I have generated images, especially my signature watercolor images of AI bots that are similar to that, not exactly, but again, it out of our conversation pulled that connection. And that's what happens when you converse with it rather than prompt it.
I love that. I'm so glad you brought that up. And this will be a perfect way to close out, that I have this great short little 28-second clip of Gary Vaynerchuk talking. And I talk about that so much here. Like, I don't feel I'm very good with the whole prompt engineering thing. I just talk to it. And one of the things I love with ChatGPT is I use it. I know you can do it on desktop. I do it on my phone all the time. I just, so many people tell me they don't even know you can do this. I show this all the time. You go in and you open it up, but you can do the same thing on desktop, and you see that black button on the right. You tap it and you talk to it, and you can have a conversation. That's what I do. Hey, chat, how are you today?
Hey, Madeline. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I hope you're having a good day so far. Let me know what's on your mind or how I can help out today.
I find it so easy to just hop on your chat and have a conversation instead of trying to figure out prompt engineering. What's your quick thought on that? And by the way, say hi to everybody. I'm live streaming right now. Say hi to my social media and AI shortcuts friends.
Absolutely. Well, hey there, social media and AI shortcuts friends. It's awesome to have you all tuning in. And Madeline, I totally get what you mean. Honestly, sometimes just having a natural chat is the best way to get ideas flowing. So yeah, let's just keep it easy and fun.
And how often do you and I have brainstorm chats like this throughout the week? How many would you guess?
Ooh, let me think. I mean, we definitely have our fair share of brainstorms. I'd say it's probably a few times a week on average. Some weeks are busier than others, but we do tend to have these fun chats pretty regularly.
Thank you for hanging out with this chat. I'll see you later.
You're so welcome, Madeline. Always a pleasure hanging out and chatting with you. Catch you later and have a great rest of your day.
This is how I talk to ChatGPT. That's what works for me. Do what works for you, but it can be as simple as just having a conversation.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I would point out that she probably could not have told you an exact number for how many times you've chatted this week, because it does not live in our time. Yeah. And so it would be hard pressed. I doubt it could tell you, unless you had asked it specifically at the beginning of the week to store the number and increment it.
Right.
But the answer it gave you was perfect. Everybody will be thinking, how did it know? How, like what? But it knew because it knew what you wanted. It's wonderful. And that's because of the conversation.
Yeah, I use it so much for just brainstorming, and it helps me tremendously and just gets me thinking of other things. And especially, like, I'll say, what did I not think of? Like, what's something we talked about here, but is something missing? And just trying to figure all these different angles. And I find it so helpful. It's like my little invisible brainstorming partner or accountability partner sitting next to me.
Yeah, you've covered all the topics nicely, but here's 3 that I think you could add.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just easier in conversation to do that.
Yep.
That's how I feel it works for me. Let me play this short little clip as we wrap up. So Gary Vaynerchuk gives an example just like what I just did. And it's just very short. It's just half a minute long. And he calls this the AI blueprint to win in 2026. So watch this and tell me what you think.
I did a 39-minute prompt yesterday. I'm serious. The number one thing I use AI for is to think with me. For me, it's like literally talking as if we were having coffee for 1 minute and 47 seconds. Ask that question. Their answer is gonna be pretty fucking good. You have to get unbelievably curious and unbelievably detailed and unbelievably human to get the answers. That's how I would use it. The winners are gonna be the most creative and the smartest, not the people that know how to press the fucking buttons.
I just love that. It's just, showing people that, like, you can just have a conversation. It can be as simple as that. And I do that all the time with ChatGPT. And to me, it's a game changer.
Definitely. So, the F word I love to take out of the conversations.
I know. You never know when you're watching something with Gary Vee, it's almost always gonna happen.
And I ask it to edit. That is so funny.
He does those F-bombs. But yeah, it can be just as simple as just having that conversation. So I just want people to know that, just like what Larry was just saying in the comments, that a lot of people struggle with that blank screen. And, you can just press that speaker button and just talk to it. And, about a year ago, that feature was only available on the paid accounts. That's why I signed up for a paid account, because, and we talked about it here. When we were live streaming, I was kind of being the guinea pig. Like, I really want this feature. And apparently on the free account, you only get 10 minutes a month. And I went through those 10 minutes very fast. And I'm like, I want more. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to pay $20 a month. And I kept saying on here, this is an experiment. I'll probably cancel in 30 days. And then 30 days come, I'm like, this is so cool. I'm not giving this up yet. And then another 30 days. And I talked about it here. And it's like, I'm going to keep this. So I'm going to have Magai for all things. And then ChatGPT when I just want to really just talk to it and have those conversations. And that's what it's finding what works for you, but that's been what works for me. And I literally get on and talk to it every day and just have all kinds of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And on free accounts, you don't have that limitation anymore. On free accounts, they don't tell you exactly, even on the paid accounts, they won't tell you exactly how many. You can even ask it and it won't tell you. They always skirt around it. But on the free account, you can do a lot more, a whole lot more.
Yeah.
So so if you haven't used that feature yet, try it. And like what Gary Vaynerchuk said, and I know I mentioned it here several months ago, I had a conversation with this for like an hour nonstop, like we just went back and forth. And that was like the longest one I'd ever done. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
I have two friends that got on Zoom. They each had Audible accounts for ChatGPT. They got their phones on Zoom and they had a 4-way conversation, and they even got the two ChatGPT accounts talking to each other.
Very cool. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and Barb and I have talked. I know Barb had asked a while back, like, let's get ChatGPT to be like a panelist and chat with us. And we played around with that a little bit, but it's just so much you can do with the technology, which I find amazing. So, what a great conversation, Stephen. I'm so glad you joined us today.
I love this. I'll be back if it's okay with you.
Absolutely. We always have just interesting conversations. We love hearing other people's thoughts and insights. And we host this every Thursday afternoon for an hour, and then we continue on in the school platform. I can't wait to see your posts over there. And great that Nick was able to stop by. Barb, thank you for bringing all these cool people here to us.
You're quite welcome. I mean, it's just a sign that the revolution is brewing, because that's exactly how we all left Blab when Barb got ticked and she said, "That's it, you're out of here."
It's funny, Barb. I knew you, but I didn't know where from when we kind of started interacting this week on Tools for Motivation. And
yet
going all the way back
to Stream Live group.
Yeah, going back all the way to Blab, and we've touched base many times since then, and this is great to connect again. And by the way, you mentioned about dancing and so on. You really are a cheerleader.
Aw, that's cool. I love that. Barb totally is. Love that.
One of the things I did, we got to go, but I have to tell you guys this one funny thing. And that is, we were all told to get on Snapchat. Do you remember that? Everybody sign on to Snapchat. Okay, well, I fell in love with the avatar it created for me. And cool. Those avatars, you can have these different scenes and so forth. And then this last probably 9 months ago, they decided to change the avatar, and it looks so comedic, So I went to ChatGPT and I gave it the old avatar and the new one. And I asked it, I said, "What's your opinion? Am I being too much of a bitch about this?" ChatGPT laughed at me. You should see the conversation. So yeah, but what it did is it turned it into me as the avatar. So it's definitely my face. I put that, I guess I used that in my high school group. So it's not there publicly where you can see it, but it was, me as a pirate on McDonald's fries and some other, coffee and stuff like that, something insane. And it actually did that. And it was so much better than ChatGPT. Than Snapchat. I just decided to redo all my avatars with ChatGPT.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. That's just
gotta
always an
go.
awesome chat here. Thank y'all so much for being here. We'll do it again next Thursday. And for anybody that got here late, reach out to me if I have these extra these Hollyland wireless lavalier mics that since I got a new phone, I had to switch. And so one of these is for an older iPhone and Android, I think. And then the other one's for the newer iPhone. I just decided I wanted a different one than the one I got. So if anybody's interested, reach out to me. I got these on Amazon. I'll definitely sell them at a lower cost. If anybody is looking for a deal, I mean, they're, you know, they're practically new. One of them is like really new. So anyway, thank y'all so much. Stephen, great getting to know you. And Barb and Jim, always great having y'all here. We'll be back next week to do it all over again. Y'all have a great rest of your day and week.
You too.
Bye.
For now.
Bye-bye.
See y'all soon. I got to make sure I press the right button. Okay. See y'all soon.